Didn't get a chance to say hi to Kurt and Emily. Michael?
Hello, sir.
So yeah, it's good. We're gonna have a good night tonight. And we got about 10 seconds to go. We are behind the scenes right now, and we are about to go live on River West Radio for Ability MKE Now. Welcome to Ability MKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff. Ability MKE Now is a show all about integration. Bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at Ability MKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or with people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at Ability MKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. I am so excited to be bringing in two wonderful gentlemen to the show this evening. First up, we have a lovely man that is going to be sharing some information about a book that he has written, but he is more than just the book he wrote. He is a technology specialist. He is an entrepreneur. He is, as I said, an author. He's an AI consultant and a thought leader. Wayne Hins, welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
I'm doing terrific. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Sue, to be here. I'm excited. I'm excited.
So tell us a bit more about you and what you all do.
Okay. Well, that's loaded.
That is a very loaded question.
Loaded, but I'll definitely try and keep it short. So, well, Wayne Hines, I'm in Toronto, Canada. So just on the other side of the border from you there, not too far from Milwaukee, and really just excited about the season we're in because it's all underpinned by technology from a perspective of how our world is changing. And I've been in that space for such a long time that I love technology. Two things that I got to say are really my passion are technology and innovations and sports. Real amazing. I mean, sports fan and American sports. Just put that in there. Football, baseball. Anyway, I also own a couple of businesses in entrepreneur space. First of all, I was in the corporate world for many years, and the last several years, I've been an entrepreneur in the technology space, focus on helping small, medium-sized businesses not only get online, but grow. And I love to help people and see their passion come to life. So I put my all into that when I do that. So that's one of my businesses is to is focusing on the digital space and helping companies, small, medium-sized entrepreneurs alike. And then the other is the publishing side, where a couple of years ago, I published a book, my first book. I've published a couple of books since, but actually, I launched a publishing company and I published a book called Reclaiming Digital Gold, which we'll be talking a little bit more about. And it's all about how data is underpinning our society. And in the context of data, technology, AI, but data is kind of the new gold. That's why I call it digital gold. And along that side of the book, as I mentioned, I'm a publisher, independent publisher, a small publishing company that help people bring their dreams to life through publishing. And I got a little bit of story how that came to be, but I'll defer that for after. But yeah, since we published well over 15 books for people of all different genres, backgrounds, and so on, including children's books, financial books, technology books, all various types, also faith-based books too. And yeah, so that's been a little bit about me and a little bit about my journey. But the my passion is talking about is talking about my passion, which is technology and as mentioned, sports also too. So
Okay, so I gotta ask on that sports side, are you a water skier by chance?
a little bit, not much, not much, a little bit,
Because that's
and
where you,
and winter skiing too, same thing, a little bit. I do a little bit of both, but
oddly enough, that's our world. That's when you talk
okay,
about
yeah,
passion, that's where we are. We do a lot of adaptive water skiing, all those things. Um,
awesome, awesome.
so you're saying as far as the technology piece, so what got you excited about technology? Where did that all begin?
Wow.
It's probably going back a little ways.
Great question. Yes, it is, but that's actually the one of the key things in my book that I share as to how I got on this journey. Because see, when I was in high school, it was about high school, is when that change happened for me, and discovering this passion. And the story always goes like this: is that, and I shared it in the book, is that I would used to love art. Not used to, I still do, but I used to draw freehand, drawing pencil and paper, and shading, and just uh, I could look at nature, or an animal, or just a figure, and just be mesmerized by it and draw the intricate details and so on. So this is my teenage years, if you will, and before. And to the extent that I would look in the mirror and draw myself, and just like, and stay still, and so I love that. So I honestly, I thought that was going to be where I would go in my future, because I love the creative part of art, of the artistic world there, and just seeing something come to life on paper. And then we had I'm dating myself a little bit here. We had the first computer lab was in our school, in our region. And so we had a computer lab where we'd go to once a week to obviously learn computers. And that's the old was it Vic 20 or something like that again. I'm pulling names out of here that have maybe your audience wouldn't know. But anyway, so I had a partner that we were working together, and she and I decided to. Well, I told her a story about this Denon music receiver that I had just bought, and it came with all the bells and whistles and so on, and it had a computer chip in it which amplified the sound and made the sound, state of the art back then. And so she was on board with this let's do a project around the computer chip in the amplifying the sound of this music equipment. And so I was happy that she chose that because it was something new for me and so on. And as we did the research, and we just went all into it, and we just loved all the stuff we were uncovering about the computer chip and the music, the sound system. And we did our presentation in front of the class, and we got rave reviews. I mean, it was just. And during the research of that and writing that paper and doing the presentation, I had this aha moment, or this epiphany, that wow, what if these chips, or maybe one day, these types of chips will be in everything in society, right? Or not society, but just different industries, right? And I just like, wow, that's really interesting. I'd love to study this more. Well, that led to me kind of abandoning my love for the art, and went into computer science. And I went to university for computer science, and then I've been from that to my vocation, and everything pretty much since then has been all around the technology space in terms of work, education, and with the exception of play. Funny, I'm not into games. You think, oh, a technology guy, he'd be into, he'd be a gamer. That's the only thing I would say in that space that I just haven't been able to really find the value of time, like we're putting it.
And that's all good. I mean, you're finding the what I would think almost more the challenging side of things. You're not using it as an entertainment piece. You're
Right,
using it
right,
because it's something that you enjoy doing.
right.
And there's nothing like having that point in your life where you hit that aha moment of this is it. This is what I
Yeah,
want to do. I love this.
yeah, yeah.
That is huge. So I'm so glad you found that. And then what is it along the way then with your path that you came to write a book then that's about this digital gold?
Yeah, and again, there's another story for that. I've got lots of stories. So, well, the I didn't consider myself a writer. You know, my wife was a writer. I had people around me who was writing, but I was not. Didn't consider myself the writer. And I was a business guy. I'm the technology guy. I'm the, if you ask me to do a presentation, I can pull together a couple of bullet points and, away I go kind of thing. But to sit and write a story, write it out, or write an essay, even in English, high school English, it's like that was a challenge, writing a 10-page essay. Come on, seriously, the discipline of sitting down and writing that, and then, getting your thoughts of, and I'm a kind of guy, getting my thoughts on paper, I start something and I scribble it out, and I'll write again, and so that was really writing wasn't my passion. So that's really what I'm saying, obviously. But I launched a publishing company well before the pandemic, but it really took off after the pandemic or just around the pandemic. And I was helping a few people publish their books. And with my business, the publishing business, I was walking them through the stages and what's involved. In fact, I now teach a course on the whole publishing process and so on. And so when I was helping these folks, I was overjoyed in seeing their book come to life. And again, just in fact, that's a tagline. My company name is Truth Communications, where dreams come to life. So that
Love that.
is really helping other people, but I didn't think helping myself. You think, right? Well, I had another epiphany. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm helping people write their book. I can. This is before Chat GPT, by the way, and before I said around the pandemic. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, I can do this myself too. I can write. And would you believe I wrote the book in 6 months? And I got someone to help me with all the and the funny thing is with a lot of research and a lot of the content putting together and so on. So I had help in that context of the research and pulling together. But the book was a labor of love and pain and and I was amazed at how easily it came out of me because I was passionate about it. And as I wrote, and I remember having, what they call writer's block, which I was very familiar with all the people around me that had that, take 10 years to write a book or whatever. And I was very familiar with that. And I realized, wait a minute, I can use some of the technology tools to help me out. When I had these blocks. So my mind is a mind that is just. Not only do I learn fast and pick up things fast, but always thinking, always processing, and so on. And my writing doesn't catch up with my mind the way it works and so on. But I found that I can record my phone some of the right and just let it just talk, and then turn that into text, and then go back and edit it. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm in my bed and I go, oh, suddenly I have a paragraph. And it was just so I found ways of overcoming and just pressing in and going for walks, getting fresh air and going back to it. But it was a love for it. It was a love for the topic. It was oh my goodness, I have all this inside of me. I got to get it out. And it was not flowing because there was a lot of papers ripped up and a lot of editing. So I work my business full time and then go to write and then wake up early in the morning or stay up late. I did everything. It just flowed out of me. And the other thing too was that I had my brother who was he had just overcome cancer, and my older brother, and at the time, and he was very instrumental in my life and encouraging me to you can do this, right? Because he was an overcomer and so on. And so I had the fire underneath me, and I was just going, and so doing so many things all at once at that time. And I wrote the book. When I wrote the book, I realized how much knowledge I had in this area, and how I was fortunate enough to have this journey to watch, not just be in it, but to be an observer of the changes and how some of the visions that I had essentially when I said I had that epiphany moment, have it watch it come to life, you know. So
I love that. That's what it that is the essence of what we all hope we can find in what we do, that we find that passion, that we have a way to funnel where that passion is coming from into something that can help others, that's of service to others. That oh, I absolutely love your story. This is so wonderful. I'm thrilled that you're
thank
able to
you,
share this with us here. And
thank
I
you.
do want to have we have another guest that is joining us. I want to make sure to get him on in and be able to join our conversation as well. Michael Hummel is coming to us out of Arizona, and he is a podcaster and just a wonderful gentleman that I have had the pleasure of just starting to get to know. Actually, Kurt precedes me by a bunch here. He already knows Michael really well, and I'm getting caught up. So I'm so happy you could join us tonight as well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And I'm actually from New York, but I live in Vegas town. So
Living in
close.
Vegas.
I've
There we
been
go.
I've been
Oh,
in
I
Arizona. What?
There we go. Actually even am crossing paths in my brain here of okay, so you are in Vegas. Thank you for
Yes.
reminding me that. So we actually are covering the country here today, or the continent, I should say. We got because you said Toronto, correct, Wayne? So you are near where the Disability Channel is located, where we do a lot of work with the folks over there. And Michael, why don't you go ahead and give us a good introduction? Tell us a bit about you.
My name is Michael Hummel. I'm from New York. I've been in Vegas for 23 years. My mission in life is to end the judgment and assumptions surrounding disability. My business mission is to help people with disabilities feel seen, heard, felt, and understood. I do that by writing, speaking, and podcasting. And I've also been an adaptive athlete. I do wheelchair racing and wheelchair basketball.
That's, oh my gosh, that is a lot of fun. We have a friend in the local area here that has a whole trailer full of adaptive wheelchairs that are made for doing basketball or whatever
Mhm.
sport. And he for years has done like Friday night open gyms where
Yeah.
anybody can go and play. And he calls it another pair of shoes. And so I've had the
Mhm.
pleasure of playing wheelchair basketball, and it is so much fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I used to tell my players if you don't fall out of your chair twice a game, you're not doing your job.
Exactly. And people that have never seen it are hearing that going, "Oh my gosh, no." But yes,
Well,
really, you guys, there's
it's
massive
it,
athletes playing.
it's funny. We've played people who have never been in wheelchairs before, and watching that is just funny
Yeah,
because
you
they don't know
definitely
what
have
they're
an
doing.
advantage.
Yeah.
Those that are used to being in a wheelchair have that definite I almost want to say home field advantage. It's not quite saying it right, but I think you get my drift of
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
so now you said you do podcasting as well. I want to touch that for a moment here. Tell us a bit about what your podcast is about.
My podcast is about I interview people with disabilities, their family members, or people within the disabled community, and basically trying to bridge the gap between disabled and able-bodied people, and educate them and let them know what they're about, what they can do, and yeah, try to the make it easier for them to know what they're about.
Excellent, because there is that piece of understanding that
Yeah,
makes all the difference.
yeah.
Honest to goodness, I've told the story in here before of a gentleman who actually is a really good friend. He's one of my best friends today, but I
Mhm.
still remember when we first met. He's a full-time wheelchair user. He stutters a lot. So when he gets nervous, he has a hard time spitting out his words and all that. And so when we first met, I had a lot of assumptions and misunderstandings and all the
Yeah,
things that we
yeah.
now look back and laugh about. But you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
And
and that's
having
why I do what I do, because you just educate and let people know. And a lot of people with disabilities that I've seen get agitated or annoyed or mad at what people don't know, and I just come at it. I've learned from doing this for however many years I've been doing it to just come at it from a angle of learn, educate first, rather than get angry or upset or you know, like that.
I love that. That's to me of the attitude that it takes to actually make a difference out there. Because yeah, what does it do getting mad and just being frustrated by it?
Yeah.
Being able to make the difference, kind of like what Wayne was talking about, being able to make a difference with others, and where dreams come to life. That being a
Yeah.
tagline. I mean that truly that it is an outlook on life that I hope more people can grab onto, because until you again have kind of an aha moment of yeah, looking at it from that perspective makes life so much better, and
Hmm.
it helps others, it helps everyone in the end. That's
Yeah.
part of why we're here,
Yeah.
and how this has all come about.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting. People don't realize the more we help disabled people, the more we're going to help everyone
oh my gosh,
because
yes.
everyone will benefit.
Well, and Wayne, with what you do with technology, I mean, the whole technology piece and the world becoming more accessible that way. And what have you seen with what you do as far as how that has been able to make a difference literally for everybody? Have you been able to touch into that piece of what you do at all?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, the book is quite an expose of my knowledge in the technologies um, space from a perspective of where we've been, where we are today, and where we're going. And you look at technology, and I said data is gold, which is data underpins essentially, everything we do. And so the book isn't just privacy. Privacy is one of the chapters in there, right? It's really about this, not I'd say evolution, if you will, of and taking, another way of looking at it is taking data on a journey, watching data grow up kind of thing. That's a funny way of looking at it. And then with AI, being all the rage now, data is food for AI. And who's producing the data? We're the producers, right? That's the way of looking at it. And what's amazing about this is that, as I said, I cover so many areas in the book, is from a game-changing perspective. Technology um, eliminates so many barriers. It goes across and brings us all together. As it creates the opportunity for to bring us all together, and no matter what your ability or disability is, it's not, it's amazing, because I don't think there's anything has been like this, because it's not just the technology, you get AI in the mix too. And so there's a chapter in the book that where I give examples of the application of technology, and namely, AI. AI is an example in the simplest form, and I know your audience knows this, and and it's somewhat trivial. The simplest form, is a tool. And you have your phone where you start typing a text and it completes that's the transformer. That was the impetus that really blew the doors off and take us into this new world, right? That when they discover that, it can then predict the next word. That was amazing in itself. Well, to have AI be available for someone who is sorry. So let me finish my thought about the simplicity of the AI. Is that, when you're talking to Siri or um,
Alexa or
Alexa,
yeah.
or Google, you're talking to an AI, which is, learning. I mean, that's the unique difference between the tool, is that it's learning. You're giving it information, it's learning, and it be able to react. So you take that and you now extrapolate where you can talk to a device even though you are not able to see, and it can give you a display of what the world looks like through AI. Or you may not be able to speak, but you could see. Well, the AI and the technology is now it's getting so developing so rapidly that it can assist you in almost any area, whether you are, at you know, disability or not. And I really hate that word, but but it's just amazing how technology is here to be able to help in many areas of society, including our health, including our, our relationships, our connections, and so on. And then, so I'll just close off on this point here. So in the book, I talk about a situation where there was I give many stories in the book, but in one of the chapters, I talk about this young lady that actually her phone or technology saved her life. She was out running and there's many stories like this, but this is one of the first big ones, I believe. Um, and she was out running and she had a lapse of some sort and fell and they couldn't find her. It was difficult. Nobody knew how to get a hold of her. Well, if her phone wasn't on pinging, nobody would have been able to identify her location. And so it just goes to show you how technology is just it's pervasive in every area of our life, but it's also assisting in almost every area of our life too. And then you start talking about the future where AI is going and technology, from agents and all. Anyway, I won't go into all that. I'll park that part of it there. But it's just showing you this evolution that's happening and the speed at which it's happening to be able to help all areas of our society.
Yeah, I think the changes and the advancements are happening so quickly at this point. And Michael, do you do much with technology? I know you do the podcasting. So how does technology play a role in what you all do?
I do the podcasting and well, the writing I do over the computer because I have a blog, and then those are the two main things as far as technology is concerned. But other than that, I do the speaking, which is I can either speak over the technology, which I've done some like over virtual, and then I've done some on stage. So it comes and goes.
Excellent. Well, I know as we're coming close to the end here, I want to have a chance to give each of you some final thoughts. What kind of take-home message do you want folks to have with what you bring us tonight here? So, Wayne, you've got so many wonderful things that you do, and I really appreciate you being here. What kind of final thoughts do you have for us?
You know, I, I love and am passionate about the space that we're in, um, but I also have concerns, and concerns of many different angles, and I allude to some of those in the book. But here's the thing: is that we shouldn't fear the technology and fear the way things are changing and so on. So that can be perceived as a concern and so on, but I'm concerned more so for one, how fast it's happening, and there's certain demographics of our society. I think of the elder demographics, who may not be as technical savvy as the younger generation, right? And so there's this chasm that exists right now between the young people and the older generation, but yet both of them need the insight of the world that in order to be able for them to be able to not just be consumers of it, but to actually put it in the right perspective.
Excellent. Well, and I do want to make sure to just say again here, the name of your book is Reclaim Your Digital Gold, and that's also your website as well,
That's correct.
reclaimyourdigitalgold.com.
That's
And so
correct. Yeah.
Wayne and Hines, I am so glad that you had a chance to join us here tonight. This has been a true pleasure. And Michael, you got about 20 seconds. I'm going to give you final word.
Hmm. I would just say that you need to embrace the technology and learn it, and don't be afraid by it. That because like I myself, I'm only in my 40s and I'm technologically like inept. I don't know much about it, but so you need to know it and embrace it and not be afraid to buy it. That's what I would say.
Excellent. And those are wonderful words to live by. I appreciate that so much. For all of us here with Ability MKE Now,